All right, hello everyone and welcome. It is episode 3 of The Success Shift. I am hopefully going to be joined soon by Trevor Johnston, one of my big mentors and inspiration to basically where I am today and the journey that I've been on. But we're just having a little bit of a difficulty. I haven't quite got hold of him just yet, so I'm going to be trying to catch up with him in the next 5 minutes and we should be good to go. So bear with me. If you're streaming in from Facebook, if you're streaming in from YouTube, please let me know where you're coming from. Get engaged, and I shall be speaking to you soon. Alright everyone, let us know where you're calling in from. If you're watching live at the moment, please drop a comment below. See where people are coming in from. Just checking to see if the stream chat is working. Okay, it seems to be working on YouTube, but not on Facebook. It's alright. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Thursday. I know I am. It's been an absolutely amazing week. I've actually just been blessed with the lucky joy of being approved for a work visa here in Germany, where I'm living. So, very excited about that. It means that I'll be sticking around Europe for the next year or so. So, very, very excited, and lots of things coming in the online space. Gives me a bit of stability, you know. If any of you are travelers, you'll know that bouncing around continuously, moving from country to country, while it's great fun, it's actually quite hard to set up an online business doing that. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but I absolutely love it. Wouldn't change it for the world. But now having stability here in Germany for a year gives me a great stepping stone to really launch my business into. So looking forward to that. So we should be getting started here in just a couple of minutes. Just in contact with Trevor now. He's a busy man, so he'll be with us very shortly. If you can hear me and the sound's all good, please let me know in the comments below. Hopefully everything's working. Perfect. Thank you, Janelle. Good to know that everything's working. Like I said, just another couple of minutes to go, and we should be getting started here. If you're liking the Funky Monkey and his tunes, drop a 7 in the comments below. I just found him the other day when I was trying to study, and I thought he had some nice funky tunes and patterns to go with it. So. Alrighty, while we're waiting, I'm just going to share with you this quote. I'm just reading the inside track at the moment by Peter Sage. I don't know if any of you have read it, but if you have, it's a great book. If you haven't, I'd recommend going and getting it. But one thing I want to share with you is one of his affirmations, and it reads, "Theory doesn't cover the price of admission to the higher levels of..." Now, I love this quote because it actually is kind of why I'm doing this whole show. You know, starting, going, giving it a go, and seeing how things. Trevor, how you doing? Seeing how things actually plan out. So the goal here is to just try and actually take action, and hopefully that'll help with my growth and getting to that next higher level. Alrighty, Trevor, how you doing, mate?
Doing fantastic. Definitely missed the memo, I guess.
That's all good. That's what happens when you're a busy man and we're living in two different parts of the world. It happens. So don't stress. You're here now. That's the most important thing. So
It was what CET, so Central European time or something.
yeah, Central European time, not Central Standard Time.
Uh,
Sorry about that, buddy.
yeah, like Central Standard Time. Okay, cool. Yeah, I threw it in my calendar here. It's like 4 o'clock, so it's like okay, perfect.
Sorry about that. Well, you're here now. That's the main thing. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for waiting. Welcome to the Success Shift 3, episode 3. The idea here is to get into the minds of those who are successful, figure out exactly what it takes to make that next shift to the next level. And for me personally, I believe that success is a mindset. We hear a lot about the things you should do, like getting up, exercising, all these positive things. But my goal on this show is to actually chat to those who I believe have been successful or who believe that they are successful, so that we can together figure out exactly what it takes, because everyone's different, everyone learns in a different way, and so why not hear it from the source itself? So today we're here with Trevor Johnston. Thanks again for joining me. Now, you're 25 years old and you've been working in the online space for a while now, making quite a successful little life of yours, which I think lots of people these days are dreaming of. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit of your story and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so basically it was like 3 years ago when I decided to just jump into the online space because you know what? I truly believe life's meant to be lived. It's meant to be experienced. And, I've traveled to many, many places and I was fortunate enough to, drop out of university and just buy a one-way ticket and didn't come home for 2 years, right? So I think through that it's a lot of experience, but when you come back to the whole reality and it's like, okay, well, I need to get a good job. I need to find, a good enough paying job so I can have the house one day, so I can have a kid one day. And then as well, I was like, man, I want to keep traveling, but I could work 6 months, then travel 6 months, but I would keep coming home broke, right? And I needed something I could bring with me. And that's where I was like, okay, there's a lot of opportunity in this online world. I could make money online and I see other people doing it. Why not me? So I just literally just dove in head first. I had no clue what I was doing. Just got started. I saw someone that had some results, someone that I knew, like, and trust. And I just said, okay, whatever you're doing, I'm in. And I didn't care what it cost it. I didn't care what it was. And, fortunately, I wish I did a bit more due diligence. So I would have started a little differently, but doesn't matter. I'm here today. It cost me $8,000 to get going. But I'm forever grateful because, who would have ever guessed that it would lead to where we are today, 3 years later, helping, hundreds of different people from all around the world understand, the subjects of investing, cryptocurrency, online business. And then, from there now, it's like I got 3 businesses going and, like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 streams of income. It's wild. So
it's the way to do it, man.
Pretty excited too.
Very nice.
Keep talking.
Alrighty, so you were saying you started at university and then decided to drop out and start traveling, right? I believe. So for anyone that doesn't know, I actually pretty much did the same thing. I finished uni, went to work, and I was like, this isn't for me. I started traveling, and I had the same as Trevor, where I'd come home broke, but still wanting to explore. And I was like, how can I make a living traveling and living this world that I want to live, but not coming home broke every single time? And funnily enough, over in Canada is when I bumped into Trevor, and he pretty much told me his story, and I was like, that's just like me. I want to be doing that. So he pointed me in the right direction, and now we've been business partners for what, a year and a half, 2 years now, which has been really exciting.
Tell me.
Yeah. So you started in university. What were you doing in university? What did you go there for? Was it just the path that everyone suggested, or did you actually have a passion to do something else?
I just promised my mom I would go. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. But I told her beforehand too, I was like, before I go, I want to take a year off. So between high school and university, I took a year off. But by the time when I, that's when I first got the travel bug. But yeah, when I went to the whole university thing, I had no clue what I was taking. I was in for sciences, but I was taking I passed only one course, which was a business management course I was taking. So, so yeah, that was that.
Yeah, nice. I know the feeling.
But half of the time, yeah. But I just had no ambition because I was like, what am I doing here? What am I getting out of this? Like, they're like, well, you can just figure it out. But I'm like, what? Spending 4 years of my life to figure it out? Like, is it really worth just doing that? Or is it worth, like, I'm like, man, I'm going to get so much more experience from, like, traveling or doing something else. It's like, when there's a time and place, like, if I know exactly what I'm going to get out of that school, then of course go, right? But if you have no clue what you're doing, go discover it through life experience. So
yeah, hands down. I mean, I did the same sort of thing. It took me 8 years to get my 4-year degree because I knew that engineering was a good paying job, so that's what I should be doing, right? But my passion, I mean, I enjoyed it a bit, but some of the other courses I just failed over and over again because it's not really what I was interested in. But I want to circle back to something you said. You said if you had your time again, you'd start slightly different. You said you spent $8,000, but there's a few things that you would have done differently. What was that from? Just failed mistakes, or was it tried businesses before, or what were the things that you're talking about there?
Well, what I would say is, like, do your shopping, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, like, if you can fail faster, you're gonna get much further. And I think so many people are scared of, like, actually failing or making a mistake.
Couldn't agree
right more. But I think getting started in the online space, you don't need to be investing, $5,000 plus to get going, right? I feel like, on your first stepping stone, you can find a program, find something that's, just a couple $100 or a couple $100 a month, and and get you going enough versus, okay, well, here's a big slap of money and you're brand new, you don't know what you're doing, right? um Kind of deal. So that's where I would have like maybe have looked differently on how to get started. um but I wouldn't take it back, right? Because
That's how we learn.
if I didn't do it, or if I didn't make that I guess so-called mistake, because I spent 8 grand on a product-based business where it's like I got a bunch of product and now I have to go sell it, right? Oh, higher ticket, but I have no selling experience. I have no social proof. I don't know anything about marketing. Oh, I should run advertisements. How does a newbie like me be able to do that, right? So, some of the best things that I learned was actually through mentorship, coaching, that I paid, $1,000 for to get some like one-on-one mentorship, right? That led to a further thing. And then I know, with the business that we're in, it's like if I saw that right at the beginning, man, like it's the best vehicle because now you're surrounded by a big community, and
Yeah.
you're investing into mentorship and guidance, and people that have already walked the path, right? Versus just like some random program and jumping around from program to program to program to finding that right thing, right? But sometimes you need to jump around a little bit in order to find that right thing, that right vehicle. But if you're fortunate enough to meet someone like me or Jacob, right, and we throw you in that right vehicle right at the get-go, it's cool, right? When you can find someone that's already been successful, who have already walked that path. Now, instead of learning from your own failures, you get to learn from their failures, and you can actually accelerate your own results by literally following someone that's already done it. And that's what something that it took me a bit to learn, but that's powerful.
Yeah, it helps the process, doesn't it?
Mm.
So if you're anything like me, I think the business that we're in now, I think that was like the fifth or sixth business that I tried before I really was like, okay, this is what I want to be doing. This is where it's at. How many times or how many businesses do you reckon you went through in the online space after you left uni before you sort of found your feet here with what we're doing?
Yeah, so I guess like, I got started I guess with like a Nagic, right? That's where I got started in, like it was like learning affiliate marketing kind of deal, right? That's how I got started. And then secondly, I was like, man, you know what? I could get leads, but I didn't know how to close. So I was like, I need to invest into learning how to close, right? And learn that skill. So I bought into a program for learning how to close sales. So I started learning how to close sales, and so I guess that was a business because you could learn how to be a closer for clients. So that would be two. And then I was like, okay. Then I realized, oh well, it's not a closing problem because I don't know how to close, but I just have really crappy leads coming through.
Yeah.
Actually, man, if I knew that at the beginning, so I was like, okay, I need to find a way to filter them. So I dove into click funnels, was learning all about sales funnels and stuff, and then I was like promoting them a little bit. So that was like three. And then I joined this other one, which was like probably my best investment. It was like $1,300 for like a one-on-one coach and mentor, and I could sell like a product that I could get $1,000 a sale for, which was pretty cool. Um, so yeah, that would be four, and then five businesses.
Five as well, hey?
Five things I tried before. Four things I tried before I found that fifth one.
Yeah. And so like was there, when you're choosing these next ones, or when you sort of get to the point you're like, man, I'm trying this, failing, this sucks, it's not working like I expected it to, what's going through your head at that time when you're like, should I look for something else, should I pack this in, or is it just that, or were you just lucky enough to have something just pop onto your desk where you're like, actually this is much better than what I had, I'm going to move here, or were you actively sort of looking for something different?
Well, I think at the end of the day, my expectation was like, I'm still learning, I'm still figuring things out, and I never had a desire or thought of like just throwing in the towel, especially at that stage. Like I'm like, man, I've only been at this for like 7 months, right? Like why would I quit now? I haven't reached to my goal, my destination where I want to go. So it's like, why would I throw in the towel now? I'm just figuring it out. So I never really I don't know. I never really thought twice. Like sometimes it was frustrating, maybe because you see someone else that in it for 6 months and they're already like making like 10 grand a month, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
You
How did
know,
that happen?
but
Why can't I do that?
yeah, but like, yeah, I don't know. It never really fazed me. I never really thought of it that way, or never even had the thought of like quitting or anything like that. I've definitely had more thoughts of quitting in this last year than I had in my first year, I'd say.
The more you learn, the harder it gets, I guess. The more you
Mhm.
grow, the more you've got to do. I guess that brings me to another question. I was thinking about it the other day. Did you ever have a deadline that you needed to be successful by, or a deadline where you had to like, okay, I need to make this amount of money? Because I feel oftentimes people try things and like, okay, by this date, I need to be at this level, this level, this level, and they set expectations for themselves. But then when they don't meet them or they fall short of them, they start to discourage themselves and they start to doubt themselves, and that's when people go, "Oh, I got to quit this." Now you're saying, which is awesome, that you never really had that feeling. Was that because you never put a deadline sort of on where your success level was, rather than maybe a goal that you wanted to achieve, but not like an actual, if I don't make it by here, then this isn't working, or if I don't make it by here, I'm failing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. I'm curious to dive deeper into this because, um, honestly, for me, like, I don't, you know, I throw deadlines on things and whatnot. There's been times where I've had deadlines of little goals, and it's actually helped me a lot because it gives me a sense of urgency of like, okay, I got to do whatever it takes to get this little task done, right? But those are like more so smaller type goals, right?
Like micro things.
Um, you know, but a wise mentor once told me it's like, marry yourself to the process and divorce yourself from the outcome.
Yeah,
And
I love that saying.
that saying, that memento that you can take with you, you can apply it in every aspect of your life, right? When it comes down to selling or helping people get started and stuff like that, right? We gotta we got to enjoy what we do, right? But we got to be divorced from the outcome, because whether they say no or not, it's not you, right? It might be a no, not now, and we got to be detached from that actual outcome, right? We've done our part. It's up to them to do their part, right? And same thing with our goals, right? It's like, and the people that I work with and some of the students, right? It's like, we can be so hard on ourselves because we're our worst critic, and you know we love to beat ourselves up. Like, Jacob's guilty of it, I'm
Oh yeah.
guilty of it, right? We like, not exactly at that place maybe where we want to be, but then we beat ourselves up, and we dig ourselves a deeper hole than what's necessary, right? And so that's very a common practice. Is the biggest saboteur that I'm still facing today is my own self-judgment, right? And I think that's very common in any form of entrepreneur. It is battling a couple of those demons, right? But I think the first step is being aware of it. But at the end of the day, it's like, yes, we like to beat ourselves up. We put deadlines, we fall short, we're like, what the heck, right? But the biggest thing is a deadline can always be pushed, right? It just
Yeah.
means, okay, well, we need a little bit more time, or it's the universe saying it's not your time yet, it's going to happen soon enough, right? But don't allow that deadline, or allow that thing to be like, to put you steps behind, right? Bob Proctor, David E. Monte, right? They always say you got to have a goal with a date on it, right? But whether you hit it or not at that date, doesn't actually matter, right?
Just having the
You can
intention.
always change the date,
Yeah.
right? But you guys got to keep moving your feet forward and keep reminding yourself and doing the actionable steps, the baby steps, right? And it will happen. It's just a matter of time of when it will happen, right? And it's kind of crazy though, because you hear all the stories of throwing dates on a goal card, and you have this like big scary hairy goal, and somehow it happens like to the T of the day,
Yeah.
right? Like, like it happens, right? But they probably had to move dates multiple times before like it just happened magically, like so yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
it's
biggest thing is married to the process, divorce from the outcome.
yeah, I love that. It's great because I mean sometimes if you get so caught up on what the outcome is going to be, then you can get so disappointed in yourself when it's not reached exactly as you wanted it to. And I think I was reading a book again by Peter Sage. It was saying like, sometimes our biggest disappointment becomes from what we have and what we want and what we expect to have, and that gap is where our disappointment lies. And so if we've got these massive expectations and then we're not happy with what we've got, our disappointment sets in. But on to the next question. I was wondering, did you ever have a plan B when you were doing this? Because I was talking to someone the other day and we were discussing the concept that a plan B is kind of like a fail safe. It's kind of like showing yourself that you're not 100% committed, in my opinion anyway. It's like if this doesn't work, then I've got this. Because usually a plan B is something that you believe 100% that you can do without any worries, right? So you've got it there because you think that no matter what happens, I can just go back and do that easily. But I think having that in the subconscious mind will sort of deter you from your success of your plan A, I guess. So did you ever have a plan B when you were doing this, or was it always just, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going? Doesn't matter, I'm just going to keep going till I get there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of my plan B. Like, I know for example, my mom or my dad or whatever, right? They'd be like, "Oh, Trev, like, wouldn't it be like too bad to have like a, like some sort of job or whatever, so that way, you have some other cash flow coming through or whatever, right? Well, I'm still learning and struggling or whatever, right? And you know, yeah, I had a couple part-time jobs through the come up, right? And whatnot, but I don't think I really had a plan B. Like, I've thought of like other businesses and other opportunities and stuff, but like at the end of the day, I think it was like a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z was what I'm doing right now. So,
Nice.
Yeah,
I suppose that
don't
probably
know
would
if
have
it really fazed me too much.
that probably would have been why you became successful, fairly quickly, because you came into this company and you moved pretty quickly. You hit the ground running and you worked your ass off, I believe, and then you were, making your way through the progressions. At what point did you sort of say, you know what, I'm making it? Like, this is successful. Like, I've put my time in, I've put my years in, I've spent my money investing myself, but I'm reaching this point where actually I'm feeling quite successful with it. This is something that I'm going to do and that I'm going to do forever.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's like we're always growing, right? So, and I think we're always a student, so we're always learning, and there's still so much room for growth and progression. So, I don't even think I'm fully there yet, right? Like, you know, yeah, like, reflecting back on it, it's like it's so funny because like first year in business, I spent about $13,000 on different programs and things, I took and stuff like that, and I made about $3,000, right? So,
Yeah.
the math doesn't really make sense. And then the second year in business, I spent about $13,000, and my year end was about $22,000, right? So, like that was
That's good.
profitable, right? Like, and then like this year, like it doesn't even compare. It's exciting and it's fun, and it's like, dude, like, yeah. Like, so
Worth
what's
it.
cool is your line, right? It's gonna go like this, right? And like it's just like compound interest, right? You're compounding, or you're compounding an account that you trade, right? And it just like
Exponentially growing.
all of, yeah, that exponential growth that happens, right? My personal goal is to make $1 million in 7 months from now, like within the next 7 months,
Nice.
right? And I believe that is 100% doable.
And what's funny is
Right?
lots of people listening would be like, "What? That's insane. That's an insane amount." But when you actually make it into the online space and you see the opportunities, especially within the NFT, crypto space, and trading, which is all the things you're into, that money is so reasonable. There's people that come in and do it in such a short period of time. But I think lots of people who may be watching this or who are still in their job, just like that, those numbers just aren't a reality. But
Well,
that's the
it
growth
is a
factor, right?
reality, but the thing is too, it's like those numbers will only come into your life when you're ready for it and when your personal development is up to the par of actually being that millionaire, right? So you need to have those trials and tribulations and the steps in order to eventually be there, right? But
Yeah,
like
couldn't agree
until
more.
then, like, yeah, you can think about it all you want, or write it down as much as you want, but like you got to actually step into being that person before you can go and have those results, right? So um yeah, but the thing is, it's just like this everywhere. Like, I'll share with you. I was looking at this late last night on an Instagram story, right? It's like so many people, there's a famous saying, right? It's like if you stick and you stay, you'll get your pay, right?
Yeah,
But most people, right, it's like a 6 month retention, right? Where people will quit within 6 months, right? Like usual. But if you can get past that 6 month part, and you say, hey, you know what, I'm here for the next 2, 3, 4 years. Well, it doesn't matter what you're doing, you will become successful because you're still persevering and keep showing up. You're doing the
it's like
things,
growth as well.
right? And you need to get past that mark. But you know, um, once you get some cash flow going through, now you can then reinvest into so many ways. So this is a one of the guys that I follow, and it's like, now today, several years later, when he got started in this business, he was he was in house arrest because he did something bad. He was actually in jail for 2 years of his life, and he got out of it. But he's like, man, I need to learn some of these skills. Well, guess what? Today, because of you know diving into this space, getting some cash flow, making some decent money. Now, what does he have the ability to do? Now he's a serial investor, right? He's a philanthropist. He's an entrepreneur. He's a CEO, right? And he used to be the felon running around, right?
Complete
And
shift.
and it's all because of one single opportunity and him just giving it all, right? He at the time, his whole family passed away. He was left with nothing, right? And he was able to do it. Now today he has 10 nodes running. So these are things in the crypto space with where you can make passive income running these things, right? He's got cryptos going all the time. He has a shoe store being launched, like a brick and mortar business being launched in California,
Nice.
right? Because now it leads to other things, right?
Opens the door, doesn't it?
He has a business worldwide. He's a land owner. He's has multiple lands inside of the metaverse.
Nice.
Has a trucking thing coming, real estate business coming, e-commerce store just about to be launched, and he has 40 employees working with him, right, or working for him, right? So it's like, and what he mentioned is if he could do it all over again, he would just focus in, on the one thing with zero distractions, no other business opportunities, focus on what we have right now. And he would just put his heart out there while everyone else is caught up in different side hustles. And then after that, after you get that breakthrough, right, that's when you scale and build your entire kingdom, right? And that's what he personally did, and that's what he would recommend for anyone who's starting out, right? It's like I talked to some high-level entrepreneurs, and I've been networking with some entrepreneurs that are not, in our direct business, but are very successful in the online space, direct sales space, stuff like that. And the biggest thing, it's like you need cash flow. So many people come into investing, but you have zero cash flow. How can you invest, right? What are you investing with? The pennies you find on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You need to find ways on how you can actually increase your cash flow first, So that way you can also increase your investing, right? And then it's creating these different money machines where, okay, well, I got my cash flow coming in, right? I'm making $5,000 a month or whatever, right? Well, how much of that can I start putting into investing, right? To create other money making machines where I put money in and more money comes out, right? I risk $200, but I make $1,000, right? And in a way of creating these machines, these cash flow making machines, and then you create more and more and more of them, right? That's why, this guy I was sharing with you, he has these nodes running, he's starting these other businesses, right? That's why for me now, I'm able to, okay, well, I'm starting an e-commerce brand, right? We're launching literally this week.
Nice.
Right? Like that's gonna be another source of cash flow where I don't have to put much of the work in. We're gonna be running the things from based off of what we've learned, right? But we need a little bit of money up front to get it going, right? But I'm able to do that now. And with our experiences and our network, right now we're able to launch it and get customers and be successful with it, right? So
yeah, that's awesome. It's about that thing, trying to just you start somewhere and then you want to reinvest. It's like so many business owners, they don't actually see a profit for a while because they're reinvesting into their business to try and grow it up and grow it up. But then when it does come time to their growth has expanded, that's when they start to see huge amounts because all the stuff they've invested is.
The biggest thing is, it's like, at the end of the day, I can't show you how to make, $100,000 a month, right? Because I haven't made $100,000 a month yet, right? But the powerful thing is, it's like, you could go up to your job, right? Or you can go up to anything, right? And be like, hey boss, can you show me how to make 10 grand a month or whatever, right? I want to make 10 grand a month, right? And they're like, laugh at you because they're like, dude, it's not even possible. I don't even make that money. So like, go somewhere else, right? Like laughing at you, right? But here's the thing, when you shift into the actual online space, you can go up to somebody and be like, hey, can you show me how to make 10 grand a month, right? And
yeah
that's the beauty, is like we have so many people that are making 10 grand a month, right? It's like, okay, well, this is the blueprint and this is exactly how you do it, right? And now, hey, you want to go make 100 grand a month? Okay, well, the people here, none of them are making 100 grand a month, but I know someone that's making 100 grand a month. Let's go have a conversation with that guy. How can I go make 100 grand a month? All right, okay, well, we can show you and the exact numbers of what you need in order to make 100 grand a month. Hey, you want to make $1 million a month? Okay, there's people doing that too, right? And you have the blueprint right in front of you. All you got to do is walk down the path. All right, so
yeah, that's it. I want to go back to something you said earlier, which I think was great. It was, you were saying, okay, I haven't made $1 million yet, but that's often, and you said, I think that it's probably because you're not ready for it yet, and it's so true. I mean, often you see people who win the lotto, that they're not ready to have that much money. They get it, they blow it, and it's gone within weeks, months, if not a year or so, and then they're back to square one. And this is something that I say to Sarah multiple times. If I blow an account or if I make mistakes, I'm like, damn it, I guess I just got to go grow a little bit more because I clearly wasn't ready to be a millionaire just yet. So back to the drawing board, back to the personal growth. What lessons can I take away? How can I grow my personal self a little bit more? Where can I shift my mindset to make sure that next time I get this opportunity or next time I'm trying again, I'll be more ready, or I'll be ready to grow that little bit further and take those few steps forward. Now, I don't know about you, but failing hard and failing fast is something that I'm becoming very good at, but learning from as much as I can. What's one of the biggest and hardest things that you've sort of had to deal with on your journey so far? Is there anything that particularly stands out, like any particular point where you were just like, this is tough, but you grew a lot from it?
What do you mean by the hardest thing?
So like something, maybe one of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome, something that on this journey you've either been stuck in your path and then you've been like, this is what I need to do in order to get to that next level, or you've had a point where you're going, this is impossible, I don't know what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. How did you get past that? Or maybe you haven't had those moments.
Yeah, so, you're talking about how, first things first, you're talking about how, people get a bunch of money, like whether it's the lotto or through sports or something like that. And, and next thing you know, like they're right back to where they were, right? And the reasons why, it's because of our own identity, right? So the best thing we can do is invest into our own personal development, right? Where we're listening to different podcasts of people, right? The be do have model is it's true, right? And everything happens for you, not against you, right? It's like, not something bad happens in life, well, we got to look at it as a blessing and find a way to find some gratitude within that, negative situation, and understand that the universe, like, it happens for you, not to
Not
you.
to remove that victim mentality.
And we keep moving forward, right? So this be do have model, like, you can listen to like guys like Jim Fortin, or one of my favorite entrepreneurs I listen to is James Woodmere, and I listen to their podcasts all the time. But in terms of identity, I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges with anyone is getting into this habit, or getting into this place of, okay, well, in order for me to be this person, right, I need to take a little step back, get clear on who this person is, who this person I want to become. Like, what is it that they do? What is it that they say? How do they act? What do they wear? All the things. So learning about identity, I think, has been one of the biggest challenges, because, still at times today, I'll shift into my old self and take the easier way. Okay, well, instead of, going to bed early so I can wake up and have a powerful and blessed day the next day, I'd rather just stay up and watch like pointless shows, or look at, things when my mind's not even fully functioning. And I'm like, why am I even looking at this? Or I'm trying to even jam in a little bit more work, and it's like 11:30 at night, or 1 in the morning. It's like,
being there.
Like, I could wake up with a clear mind and get this done in 20 minutes versus an hour I'm spending on this subject, right? So I think the biggest challenge for everyone, or at least the biggest challenge for me, was really understanding, okay, well, in order for me to be this next level Trevor, right, I need to work on reprogramming my subconscious mind. I need to work on, shifting my identity of, how I see myself and how I act, and actually being that person, right? And I think I'm still working on that today. I'm not perfect by all means, right? And I'm always learning more tricks.
Perfect doesn't exist.
On how to become better on that point, but also shifting into that higher self. So I'd say that would be the biggest struggle, is because, you just kind of fall back into a hole. And some days, guys, like, I don't even want to like face the noise. I don't want to talk to nobody. I'm like, screw this.
You have them, don't you?
I ain't doing shit.
Yeah. You know what? Today is a Jake day. Fuck the business. Fuck everything else. I'm staying right here and looking after myself today. You have them, but I mean,
not even looking out for yourself. I'm just like for the whole world. Like I'm doing nothing.
But I mean, I think that they're important sometimes. You got to have that and be like, you know what? I just got to take a break. But the number one thing is, I understand that it's too much. I'm taking a break, and I'll get back at it later. But for now, I'm just gonna cut the ties. Yeah, I think most entrepreneurs have had those days in their time. Well, there you go. So shifting your subconscious mind to changing your image. That's pretty powerful. As well as one of your sayings, which I like, is marry yourself to the process and divorce yourself from the outcome. I think that's something that many people could stick with. In saying that, I really appreciate your time, Trevor. We've been here for almost 45 minutes, so thank you so much. I'm very excited to see where you go in the future, and hoping to be right there with you by your side. It's been great getting to know you. I've got 2 last questions for you, just to get your mind thinking for a bit of fun. Number 1, well, not so much for fun this one, but what would be the one thing you'd go back and tell your 17-year-old self?
Okay, and the second question?
The second question, so if you could have the answer to any question in the world, the complete truth about any question ever, what would that question be?
Ooh. So those are 2 powerful questions. I love it, because we can leave your audience with a bit of a bang and some value. So
it's the plan.
I think if I was to tell my 17-year-old self something different, like honestly, I'm pretty grateful for what I've done and what I got to experience and all the things, right? So I'm definitely grateful for that. So if I was to go tell my 17-year-old self something, I would be like, just start believing much bigger, and sooner. Like just like
Dream bigger,
you
dream
know,
faster.
I wish I started the online entrepreneurial journey even sooner, right? And just like, even if it's just like a foot in the door, right? Like, while I still go out and live the life and explore the things and did everything I did, like travel, I think was the best investment, hands down, right? Like I would not take it back because honestly, I wouldn't have the same mentality and mindset and experience that I do have today. But I would say, like, yeah, just think bigger and believe that you can do whatever you want. And like, honestly, like, I don't like the fact that people think that there's so many limits and limitations, or they have to follow all these different rules and regulations. All right. Because at the end of the day, I believe life is limitless and
There
there are
is.
no limits. So yeah, that's what I would tell my 17-year-old self would be
Very
just
nice.
think bigger and start sooner.
Yeah, nice.
And then I guess the last question there on basically, if I could have the answer to any question in the world,
Yeah,
what would it be? Um, yeah, so I got to think about this for a second because that's a big juicy one.
it is. It is. It takes some thinking.
Yeah, like it's ideally it would be like, I think the question that I would want answered, like, and it's weird because I think the answers are already there and I already know the answer, but I think the question or the like that I would really want is like, I would like to know like what's the exact structure and the exact things that I need to do personally in order to be that, multi-millionaire that I want to be, like that person that's impacting thousands and thousands of lives all around the world and traveling and living that ideal life, like my vision I have in mind, which is, really serving the masses and really making a big difference. Like I would like to know what is it, who and what is it that I exactly have to be and do in order to have all the habits and necessary things in like that exact format.
That's an interesting one. It's an interesting thing to have.
That's what I want to know.
It's
and
funny.
and I feel like I already know it, but I'd like that, like, accountability and that like discipline of, okay, this is what you're doing, and that's what's up.
It's funny you say that because I mean it's such a interesting concept. If you knew exactly what you had to be and do, would you then be able to go do it, or would it ruin the fun? Because I mean, it's all about the journey, isn't it? It's all about the struggle and the growth and the challenges of figuring that out. Well, that's for me anyway. So it's such an interesting concept to me. Like, if I did have the answers to do exactly that, would I then just get straight there and continue to grow? Would I then get a limit, or would I still keep having the answers of what I needed to do? So where would that end come? But I think it's a very interesting question. And definitely, if you had the answer to that, you could be a completely different person quickly. So, great answer. Great answer. Well, Trev, it's been absolutely great. I really appreciate your time here. Sorry that I dragged you out of your routine to bring you here 8 hours earlier. Sorry about the time confusion, but that happens. Now, you've got an e-commerce website coming up. I'll just give you a couple of minutes if you want to let anyone know about that, if it's ready to go or if it's still in the books. You've still got that also NFT project that you've got coming up. So if you want to share either of those projects with the people, then go for it.
I guess if anyone wants to link up with me, basically all my social handles, it's just the letter I and then Trevor Johnston. So pretty straightforward. So you can always connect on any social platform. And then, yeah, the couple things that are in the works right now is lately been diving deep into NFTs. Made a decent bag with some of them, and it's pretty fun and it's exciting and it's just new, right? So basically what that's led to, it's led to a couple opportunities, and one was a merch idea because I was like I bought these meerkats, right? And I was like, man, I want to wear a meerkat. I want to get my NFT on some merchandise. And I kept asking in the group of like, yo, does anyone have an e-commerce story set up? Is anyone selling any of this stuff yet? And no one was like, they're like, oh, we're working on it. It's gonna come down the road. I was like, screw it, guys. I'm gonna go make it myself, right?
Nice.
And I already have people in my network that know really good stuff about merchandise and creating e-commerce stuff. So I just reached out to them. We formed a partnership, and away we launched. So our goal is actually to launch a tentative deal today. We're actually our first. We're creating partnerships within the NFT space where we're going to be partnering up with different NFTs and their brands, and we can do some collaborations with them. So our first collaboration is actually with the Meerkats. So
Oh, nice. That's a big one.
But the big thing is it just allows anyone to create their own customizable merchandise where, hey, you just bought this NFT, you really like it, you're like, man, I love this stuff, and you want it your own, like you want to bring it to life, right? Well, you can get it on a hoodie, you can get it on a shirt, you can get it on a mug, like whatever you want. And that's what you can do through our website, is by doing exactly that. So that's called clubnft.art. So clubnft.art. That's the website, that's our Instagram, that's our Twitter, etc., like that. And then what also happened was like, because when I go do something, somehow I influence other people too, and it leads to hundreds of people doing the same thing, right? So I was like that guinea pig going into the NFT space, and the next thing everyone's asking me, how do I get in, right? So I just open up a free group, and everyone just starts like come in, learn, do things together kind of deal, and it's led to like a 150 person group, right? So I had some other entrepreneurial friends, and they sort of approached me and was like, yo, I have this idea to create this project, and I want you to be a part of it and be like a co-founder in a sense, right?
Very nice.
And we founded a project where we're starting our own NFT project, and our goal is to actually give back 40% of everything right back to the SPCA. We have a lot of dog lovers, and they want to
dogs.
Yeah, they want to help dogs in need, find their forever home, right? So we created this project where, guys, like, this is how crazy and the money that's involved in this space. It's like, we're going to be able to give a check to the SPCA of like $700,000 to $1 million. Like, it's like,
it's crazy.
Hey, here you go, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know who donates that, but like, it's like, that's powerful, and we
That's
have the
huge.
ability to do that as 25-year-olds through creating a project like this, and then we're going to have so much more utility and fun things for you guys as community members or you guys as supporters. So you're not just like buying a cool art or a cool NFT and then 40% goes to the SPCA. Like, you're not just supporting a good cause. We want to make it as much of a good investment for you, so that way you're getting an ROI, and that you're doubling your money, tripling your money, or whatever as well by supporting us. So that's
Very
pretty
good.
exciting. Our launch is coming up. I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but for the middle of the month.
Nice.
So of December here. So it's coming up pretty quickly. We have a big marketing push coming up. We actually raised over $50,000
Wow.
with investors to spend on marketing, right? Which is so cool. That people are willing to invest into us and into our project. And so we have a big 2-week push literally starting this week. And so it's gonna be a big deal. It's called Rough Life Rescues. So
You can find that on Instagram and the Discord, right?
yeah, get in the Discord, because we have a lot of giveaways. That's my task, is managing giveaways and like community engagement, stuff like that. So we use a platform called Discord, and right now there's multiple giveaways for like free NFTs, cash prizes, stuff like that. And we'll be releasing pretty soon here. I think maybe tomorrow or the next day, somewhere along the lines. We're actually gonna be releasing a $10,000 giveaway as well. coming out soon too. So like, I want to
Nice.
see you guys get that money so that way you can keep investing back into yourself. So
There you go. You've heard it here. So if you like $10,000, if you like NFTs, if you like anything to do with crypto, trading, investing, if you want to get your NFTs onto a hoodie, I've got the club nft.art in the chats here. Anything else, just reach out to Trevor at Trevor Johnston, or you can jump in contact with me and I can point you in the right direction. Trevor, thank you very much. It's been great. I'll be looking forward to speaking with you again soon. But for now, we'll leave it at that. So peace out and keep smiling, everyone.
Sick show, bro. I really love it. And, keep showing up, keep doing this. And, yeah, like it's a fun time. So thank you.
Cheers, buddy. I'm glad you could join me. All right. We'll keep it at that. Thanks, everyone.